What we have here is a 56-inch Fanimation Stellar. 8 blades, again 56-inch span. The blades are made out of aluminum, albeit hollow aluminum, still. Okay, this is a DC fan. And yeah, you see 8 blades, and you see the caps on the end of the blades, you're thinking big-ass fans? That's exactly what you're thinking. That's exactly what they're going after with this model. They're going after the market that big-ass fans and other big HVLS manufacturers currently have. HVLS means high volume, low speed, meaning high amounts of air movement at a relatively low speed. So, now the Stellar comes from 56-inch, as you see here, 64-inch, 72-inch, 84-inch, all the way up to 96 inches. So yeah, it's pretty much a competitor to big-ass fans. Now this motor is made for, alright, it's made up for spans up to 84 inches. So 56-inch is the smallest span that this motor is good for, which means speed might be increased. So there's the length. Yeah, the fan has a remote, yes, but for the sake of ease, because this is a DC fan, alright, what that basically means is that it's FanSync by default. It comes with the Bluetooth FanSync by default since it's a DC fan. All Fanimation DC fans as of this recording come standard with Bluetooth FanSync. Which means you get to control it from here, from your phone, via the FanSync app. So, AC FanSync gives you all of 3 speeds. Ooh, exciting. DC FanSync, or at least the Bluetooth version, gives you 31 speeds. And at that point, it's basically variable. So, let's put the fan to speed 1. Oddly enough, this one doesn't really twitch all that much. A lot of DC fans, they twitch back and forth. This one doesn't do that. I like that. It implies that the fan has a better driver, or in this case, just the receiver and the canopy. So this is the lowest speed it has. It's a nice aesthetic low speed. Now this harkens back to Casablanca with their slumber quiet system, as well as IntelliTouch, in that the lowest speed was truly aesthetic low, just to get the fan going, just for that nice, calming aesthetic. Nice laid back aesthetic. And even at this speed, I'm feeling a little bit of a breeze. Now, because this one goes after big-ass fans, you can probably you're probably thinking, oh, it's going to move a lot of air. We'll see. But, the fact that it... Shut up, Cricket. The fact that it is... it listened, cool. The fact that it's moving so much air already at this low speed tells you something. So... let's put it up, let's say to speed 3. Now when the fan initially starts up, what it does is, it moves it a little faster than the actual speed you set it to, just so the blades can actually get up to speed. That is, if, say, if the bearings start to wear out, if they start to gum up or anything like that, So I think a safety feature, basically. Now, Casablanca's IntelliTouch did the same thing. When you would set it to low speed, like speed 1, it would at first go to full tilt, full blast, just like the blade's moving to the desired speed, and then it would go right back to your low speed. So it would be instantaneous movement. Of course, with IntelliTouch fans, if the low speed resistor element of the BFR strip starts to go bad, yeah, it'll twitch and then it'll come to a stop because, you know, it's just not working. Let's go to speed 5. The fan is reversible, but with this kind of fan, there's no point in reversing it. I mean, alright, yeah, sure, you might get some air movement, but not a lot. Because the blade has a downdraft bias. So, yeah. And that's the case with a lot of newer Fanimations these days. The blades, and this is also not just Fanimation because they feel like doing it, but because of the Department of Energy standards for CFM, you know, the only way to get more air without, you know, increasing speed is to contour the blades, which will give them a downdraft bias, meaning updraft really isn't going to do much. It's one of the negative side effects of this, of these, oh, your fans have to be efficient, regulations. Let's go to speed 8. If I went through all 31 speeds, we'd be looking at this forever. And, well, not everyone has the patience for that. Now this is a more functional low speed, although it's a slightly fast low. And of course I am feeling a breeze. Yeah, because this fan is going after big-ass fans, it's also going after it in the same or similar price range. Now, big-ass fans and other similar HVLS fans are extremely expensive. Although this one might be cheaper, it's still not particularly affordable. Brand new motor plus 56-inch blades, and this is just the 56-inch. You go larger and it goes way up. But this size, almost $1,000. New. Yeah, the Stellar's not particularly cheap. However, what you get for your money is very good. You know, because, you know, this thing is basically geared towards, you know, air movement. So let's go to speed 10. It has a pretty large DC motor because, again, it has to support an 84-inch span. But, yeah. And this thing is also incredibly efficient. I think it draws all of like 0.6 amps. Something like that. I don't have the exact rating with me on hand right now, but, you know. It's low. You tried getting this kind of performance out of an AC fan, you'd be drawing at least 1.5 amps. At least. So, let's speed up a little bit, go to speed 15. Now 15 is right in the middle of the range. You know, right in the middle. It's basically your normal medium speed. Or maybe a medium low or a high, like a fast medium low. I got this one new in the box. Blades and motor, brand new in the box. I think this was purchased off of one of the online, you know, one of the online lighting fan places. Like, I think it was One Stop Lighting or something like that. And for whatever reason, customer returned it. It went back to Fanimation, because that's what happens when you buy offline or buy off the internet, off one of those sites. It just goes straight back to the manufacturer. Now, alright, when they return to the manufacturer, the fan would normally be scrapped, because once it's returned, there's no way of telling what has happened between point of sale and point of return. You know, you don't know what they've done to the fan. You don't know if they stripped screws out or wiped their balls all over the motor and blades and everything. You know, you don't know what they've done. You know, you don't know if they've hooked it up to 240 volt instead of 120 and fried all the electronics and everything. You don't know. You don't know if they've hooked it up to an arc fault circuit interrupter, or rather, you don't know if they've put in a new house. Because new houses, at least from, I think, 2005 forward, new houses, new construction, with living rooms, I think dining rooms and bedrooms, all must have arc fault circuit interrupter circuit breakers. Okay. Let's put it up to 18. Yeah, they must all have arc fault circuit interrupter circuit breakers. What these breakers do is they detect if there's an arc somewhere, like in a box or in a wall, it's going to detect it. It's a very sensitive system. The problem is arc fault circuit interrupter circuit breakers do not, and I repeat, do not get along with DC motor fans. They just don't. DC fans do not like them at all. What will happen is they'll run for a little bit just fine, and then they'll die. You can replace the receiver all you want, but the motor will fry itself, basically. It will die. I'm not sure the exact science behind this, but you know, I work in the business, and I've seen numerous DC fans come back returned because they just stopped working, and replacing the receiver or the driver board, whatever it is, you know, just doesn't work. You know? So, yeah, it's basically what's going on here is this. The Department of Energy wants, you know, higher efficiency standards for ceiling fans. So, the way to do that is with DC motors. Brushless DC motors. Now, on the other side, the National Electrical Code, or NEC for short, let's put up to speed 21. Alright. It wants these arc fault breakers, you know, in certain rooms of the house. Problem is, the two technologies just don't mesh well at all. So they need to figure out, I think really it's down to the manufacturers. The manufacturers have to figure out how to make a DC fan that actually works with the AFCI breakers. So far they've failed to do that. Let's put it up to speed 23. Now this is kind of a medium high almost. And it's already hauling ass. The fan is wobble free, which is how it should be. Just the way I want to see it. Zero wobble. That's good craftsmanship. So now let's go up to 25. Yeah, the DC FanSync so much better than the AC FanSync. You get so much of a better range compared to your normal fan. Like, it's basically variable speed. Now, I believe, and I've never tried this because I don't have the tech to do it yet, that the Wi-Fi FanSync actually gives you 100 speeds. So it goes by percentage points. So now, let's do for full blast. Speed 31. There is a noticeable increase in speed. Okay. Basically right now, this thing is rivaling any other industrial fan, if not beating it. I think the only thing that could beat this in performance would be an SMC 60F. You know, a cast SMC 56-inch industrial would be the only thing that might beat this. Because the amount of air this thing's putting off is insane. I think the CFM rating for the 56-inch is something like 8,700, 8,500 CFM. And this is with the newer standards, the revised standards. Because back in the day, it was like the Wild West. You could say, oh, your fan moves 30,000 CFM. Oh, because big numbers are like, big numbers better. Yeah. But they were inflating the numbers. You know? The numbers were way too high. They weren't accurate. Now, with, you know, the DOE stepping in, now there's more regulation, and now the figures are actually what they should be. So the fact that it moves this much, you know, because back in the day, hunters, like higher-end hunters in their catalog, right? Ooh, 8,500 CFM. No, it would be more like 6,000. Maybe 6,500 CFM. You know? But this thing moves like 85, 8,700 CFM. With the current standards, yeah, it's moving a lot of air. Alright. A lot of air. So yeah, the performance from this thing is spectacular. You know? Absolutely spectacular. You know, and that's what you want to see. That's what you want in a fan. You want excellent performance. And this thing delivers. Better than a lot of things I've seen. So is it worth the $1,000 price tag, or almost $1,000 price tag? It's like $973 as of this recording, but, you know, with tariffs and such, things tend to go up. But, yeah, $1,000 price tag. Is it worth it? Yes. Absolutely. If you need air movement, if that's your #1 priority, this is what you want. Because it's just... performance is just beyond words. It's just absolutely marvelous. So now let's let it coast. Now, because it's a DC fan, for whatever reason, the spin down time is actually pretty quick. So, there you have it. A Fanimation Stellar and 56-inch. I hope you enjoyed.